Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you by Frontline Gaming. We're your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial and Sigilite of the FLG, and I'm Seth the Mad Dog, your competitive correspondent. How have you been doing, Kicker?
I am doing swell. If it sounds like I'm exhausted, my voice is hoarse, it's because my current hobby progress is just LVO all the way, baby, all the way, nonstop.
I feel like tired Kicker is normal person energy level.
I mean, I'm going on about maybe 3.5 hours of sleep. I've been up since very early this morning, and I stopped working 5 minutes before we started this recording. And I will go back to getting those tickets ready for LVO because we go live Saturday. But I will say I need to keep my sanity. And I also felt a little ashamed of my gray plastic I showed off last week. So can we bring down my hobby progress? I did manage to paint not one, not two, but 3, 4, 5 Sentinels right there. Look at those.
Look at them.
My wonderful tone colors. Yeah. Guys, if you are listening to our podcast, you should consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you get the cool visual elements like my hobby progress here. Mm-hmm. And you get to hop in chat. And guys, chat. We're excited to talk to you tonight. Seth, do you approve of the Sentinels? Do you like them?
I do. I mean, they look good. They fit your army theme. You know, I wish a little bit more just maybe like a stripe of like orange or red across the front of those chassis. Yeah, but whatever.
Well, maybe you can share some of the examples of your splash of color you've been working on. I know you've been busy, buddy.
I have. Before we get to my hobby progress, I did get into a little game called Diablo 4 this past weekend, and it sort of consumed my life.
Oh, no.
It's really good, folks. Just like really good.
We won't be seeing Seth at future events.
Yeah.
He will just be playing Diablo.
And I did the painting, but before we show that again, I did go, like I've said before in the show, I don't have much of a local scene. There is a local store, and it is more of a casual narrative group. But they were doing a big like APOC game to send off nights. So I went out and checked that out and hung out with them for a bit over the weekend. Maybe see if we can convince a few of those guys to do.
Can we get a shout out to the store? Let's do it. Let's do it.
That's Gear Gaming in Opelika, Alabama.
Sweet.
Nice store. So maybe I'll convince some of them guys to be my dojo partners. But I did do a fair amount of painting. I got the last 4 mega knobs done to finish up my 15 mega knobs. So they're looking all vibrant.
Yeah, they are.
Kicker. I haven't told you about this yet, but I have been working on a little secret project for giveaways for our viewers who come and say hi to us at ACO. I'm running a freebooters orc army. That's the pirate orcs.
Yeah.
And so the most appropriate thing to give away is orc doubloons. So I printed off a bunch of those and painted those up for everyone. So I got like 30 orc doubloons with me, so come find me and ask
get yourself limited edition orc doubloon.
Yep. And they happen to be about the size of an objective marker 2. If you need something like that, there you go.
Do people know, like, is doubloon a commonly used word? Like, I'm from New Orleans and we use that for Mardi Gras throws, like the doubloons that you get in Mardi Gras.
Well, it's like a pirate thing, Kicker.
It's a pirate thing. I mean, I'm cool with pirates. Pirates are cool.
And then I had one more model that I didn't need to paint, but I wanted to paint because I already had some shock jump tractors, but I had a special shock jump trackster. Kicker, check that out.
Oh my god!
Do you know what that's modeled after?
Is that your Batman shock? Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, that is a Batmobile shock jump dragster, orcified. It's beautiful,
and that's just show off work. Like, because I know that you're rushing to get ACO done, but you know what? I got time to.
I mean, it was like a bunch of metal and black. It was really easy to paint, so threw that one together. So super happy with how that one turned out. So I'm officially done with all the models I needed to paint for ACO. Now I'm just on Diablo time. So I'll see everyone at ACO after I've hit tier 4 Diablo. So Nicky D, what have you been up to, bud?
Hey guys, Nicky D is here. I'm here, and I've actually been working on painting some paintings myself. Question for you, Kicker and Seth. Both of you play armies where batch painting is gonna be a necessity. People handle this different ways, and Seth, we see it with your painting, right? You'll do basically 1 unit of orcs at a time, right? I do it the opposite way. As you can see here, I've got, I think, 5 different, there's 4 on screen, another one, but 5 units where I've got them primed, dry brushed, and I'm putting it going yellow, doing the yellow parts, and then the blue, going color by color. So I finished 5 units at the same time, basically.
Wow.
Am I crazy for doing that? What do you think is the right way to do batch painting?
You are 100% crazy. That just seems demoralizing. Just that many minis at the same time. Don't you get bored of the same color?
It keeps me in line though, because I can sit for like an hour with that same color and go through a whole bunch of minis and see the progress for it. So it's less having to go from one color to the next and the next. I do the progress part and not having some models finish in 1 week. It does pain me a little bit, but I know I'm not the only one that does this. Chat, I don't know if there's anyone else that is with me on it, but I definitely feel like I'm in the minority when it comes to this style of batch painting.
Seth, back
Yeah.
me up. Our producer is crazy, right? Just back me up
Yeah.
on this one, please. Okay,
Yeah, no, I have to do it. I have to see the unit get completed, otherwise I lose motivation. So I have to do them in
exactly.
small enough batches so that I can complete that group. Like I had 20 flash kits to paint in the last few weeks. I did it in groups of 5 because I
And
was like,
that's
I'll
the
get
way
those
to
5.
do it. I mean,
Yep.
so I'm not saying everyone's like this, but I'll speak for myself. It's not hobby ADD. It's more like I like instant gratification, right? I want to be able to have something
Yeah.
completed at the end of every week that I can go play with that week. That's based. It's got the top coat. It's ready to roll. So like I try to paint in batches that I know I can complete in 1 week, and that's kind of my like. Because if I've got something on my hobby desk over a week, I get like kind of like you said, kind of bored with it. But kudos to you, Nick. If it works for you, you've got beautiful armies. So whatever works for you, man. Seriously,
I'll tell you,
there's no
Kicker.
wrong answer.
The models are piling up on my desk, and because of a certain pre-order that's coming up this
Oh
this
yeah,
weekend, it's gonna get even more full. So do you want to take us into that pre-order that's coming up? It's just a small pre-order,
just a
right?
small one, guys. You've been waiting. You knew it was coming. Yeah, the predictions were pretty damn accurate because people have been predicting this for a while. Up for pre-order this weekend. It's the new 10th edition starter box with Space Marines and Nids, the Leviathan box. We got a 2-week window for this. That means that this box set is going to be available right after ACO. So ACO is officially the last hurrah of 9th edition, and then in the following week, yeah, right, go enjoy it, and then right after that, you've got this brand new box, you got this brand new edition to start working on. So it is a gorgeous box.
So that's Saturday they go up for pre-orders, right?
That is Saturday. They'll go up for pre-order for 2 weeks.
Be checking out the FLG site on Saturday, folks.
Yeah, and honestly, this is we're very fortunate to have friends at GW. We've seen this. This is the most gorgeous box. Period. Like, just it is the best one. There's no comparison. It does make me a little.
I mean, it doesn't have orcs in it though.
It doesn't have orcs in it, but it's just like it set the bar so high for these like box collections. Like I don't know what they could do in the future. Like I really don't know. Everything is so immaculately done. I will tell you that Frontline Gaming, who sponsors our podcast that I work for, they do have a large order of these going to be allocated to the store. So if you're looking for one and you don't want to miss out, order yours through frontlinegaming.org, and maybe one of our old producer here, or maybe Seth, can drop in chat our affiliate links. Say buy us a cup of coffee or something, or beer or something. Yeah. So consider getting your Leviathan box. We've got more news than just this brand new beautiful box. Seth, I'm going to let you talk about this because this is a little sensitive. We're talking about Forge World, man.
Yeah, so actually, it was topical that we brought this up because I had the conversation with my friends last night about this, but they've announced that a lot of the Forge World models, including a lot of the like classic dreadnoughts that you see, like the Leviathan and the Contemptors, and then a lot of the Space Marine vehicles, the Fire Raptors, the Storm Eagles, the big Fell Blades and the Fauchelons, those are all going to be Horus Heresy only.
Yeah, that hurts.
I understand it hurts, Kicker. And I was with you until I was having a conversation with one of my friends that is more into 30K than he is 40K at this point. And it's interesting because I think by Space Marines, we can all admit they are not lacking for model diversity.
Very fair.
Right? And so by limiting these models to 30K or Horus Heresy only, it really gives that game system its own distinct feel. Those are models and units you only see in that system. So I understand you have your toy, you want to play with it in 40K, and they are going to make rules for these for narrative and casual play, but these rules are explicitly not for match tournament play. Yeah. So you can still play with them on your casual pickup game. It makes 30K feel different at an event than a 40K event does, which I think
it should be. It should be, right? I mean, it is a different game, right? Different game rules.
So I understand that it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. Actually, one of my friends, was trying to paint a bunch of dreadnoughts, and he literally just had a picture of, here's all my dreadnoughts I need to pitch, and then he took the picture and just like X'd out all the dreadnoughts that he couldn't play with anymore. And I felt for him, but I also was like, if you and I want to play a casual game on a Saturday or whatever, like, you can throw those things on the table, man. It's fine.
And I was talking to somebody who did have a very good perspective. He got a lot of use and love out of those Forge World models. Like we're talking 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we want to be able to use these models indefinitely, but come on, guys, we are all guilty. There's always something new and shiny around the corner. Some models, it's time to let them have their sunset. So
Yeah, time to
you know,
ride off into the sunset.
yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So Forge World has got some big shakeups. We do know that Custodes and I believe Knights get a lot of their stuff still, right? Is that accurate, guys?
Well, so there's still going to be Imperial armor, and yeah, it looks like a lot of that stuff is still going to be allowed.
Yeah.
We'll just have to kind of wait and see on the full list when they release that information.
Yeah.
More than just this preview article.
Maybe we should have a wall at LVO of like, for those that we have lost, just your favorite, Forge World mini. You take a photo, put it up on the wall,
Oh, Kicker, you're playing with fire there, bud. I love it.
All right, I don't know. It just seems like fun. Nicky D, are you losing any beloved miniature from the Forge World thing?
I am not. I'm one of those players that I came into 40K only a handful of years ago, and
Mhm.
I can tell you probably one of the first Tuesday night leagues that I played in. There was a guy that I've gotten to know and become very good friends with, but half of his models were Forge World.
Yeah.
And so when you're a new player showing up to the table and there's all these models that you don't see them listed in the
Yeah.
codex, you don't like it goes both ways. It can be very frustrating. But Seth, to your point, I share the frustration, or I understand the frustration for players that have had those models and have used them. And I gotta say, guys, Forge World models, some of those kits are some of my favorites. Forge World proxies or people
Yeah.
trying to mimic some of the Forge World models are also perhaps some of the most embarrassing models that we've seen
Yeah.
on the table. So
Yeah.
this is one of those parts where I think a little bit of trimming, not a bad thing.
Yeah,
But
and from a competitive standpoint, narrowing the model range makes it easier for them to balance.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it is also, I don't like to bring like personal financial status or economics into this, but like it makes it more everyone has access to the same models regardless of your discretional income, right? Because Forge World does tend to be a little bit more expensive, so at least everyone's kind of playing from the same deck of cards, kind of. I do think though that hey, chat, tell us what you think. We're always interested. I do have quite a few Forge World models, but I'm actually okay with it. Like I was a little frustrated at first, but then I realized that I like all the new models that are coming out. Like I really do like the dynamic poses. I like there's just so much, so it's not that big of a loss for me personally. But now we got to talk about the Space Marine stuff, man, because this was another big thing that some people were really psyched, but some people a little not so psyched. We got the different, I guess, non-traditional Space Marine factions getting a little bit of 10th edition preview. Do we want to start off with Dark Angels?
Yeah, so they took in them a very interesting design direction I didn't anticipate. So basically, their ability Grim Resolve means when they fail Battle Shock, they still count as OC1. So not necessarily mitigating taking Battle Shock, but mitigating the results of Battle Shock. So I thought that was very interesting.
Which is important, right, guys? Because if you are Battle Shocked, you have OC0, which means even if you're standing on an uncontested objective, you don't control that objective. Correct, Seth?
Yeah. So even if you blast a unit, they got one or two dudes on the back on an objective, they fail their Battle Shock, they still count as having OC1 each, so they're still going to hold the objective. So
that's solid.
I think that's very interesting. Yeah, so that's solid. Space Wolves got their sagas, which is you have to do certain things usually with their characters, and that unlocks bigger effects.
It's thematic, right? It's thematic.
It's thematic. It's a little clunky.
Yeah.
Because I got to go do something with this guy over here to get my buff. So, Nicky D, you want to take Blood Angels for us, bud? Maybe not.
Okay. Yep. There we go. Sorry, I had to click buttons to unmute myself. My Blood Angels. We talk a lot on this show about I'm a Demons player, I'm a Death Guard player, but the Blood Angels are my first and true love. They are often, it is often mentioned in the lore, they were Khorne's first choice for a legion to bring to the side of Chaos. Don't let that fool you. Blood Angels are the good guys. I'm a little sad about their detachment bonus. It's +1 strength and +1 attack. Not as good as the Savage Echoes, where they got +1 attack and they had +1 to wound and they had +1 to advance and charge rolls. But guys, it's a new edition. We're gonna wait and see all the rules. We're gonna wait and see all the points. But something I am excited for: Death Company.
Death Company.
I love my Death Company. They're my favorite thing in the Blood Angels army, and this in the data sheet, which we're showing on the screen right now if you're watching live, for the Death Company Intercessors, the Primaris version, they're looking kind of spicy. They can Overwatch or Heroic Intervention for free, which, hey, guys...
wait, they can Heroic Intervention for free?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh,
for
so
zero
I knew you
CP.
could Overwatch for free, but no one's. I mean, no one in my circles are talking about the heroic intervention for free, which is, I believe that's a 6-inch move, potential 6-inch move. Now you got to roll the
Well,
charge,
you got to roll 2d6.
roll 2d6. Oh, but
Yeah.
the point is that you have a little bit more of a increased threat range now, which
Yeah.
is nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Kicker, quick question for you.
Yeah.
We're at this point in the show here. Stratagems, right, for 10th edition. Where can folks find out information about like what is a
Oh, we
heroic
should talk about that,
intervention or
guys.
what
We
are we
did
gonna
a
say that?
pretty sweet signal special report. It's a 3 sort of a 4-part series. I guess we can release the 4th part in the near future, if not already. But yeah, it's 3 parts. It is basically giving you all the good details. We have an entire part just on the stratagems. I read them to Nicky D and Seth live, well recorded, but now you get the reactions
Live for us at the time.
live for us at the time, and you get their honest, true, transparent opinions and reactions to these stratagems. There are these core stratagems which are integral to all the armies, and one of them is heroic intervention, which is pretty dang cool. Let's talk about Black Templars, because wow, those guys got good. Who wants to take this one? Competitive correspondent Seth, do you feel good with this one? Do you feel?
Honestly, I don't know what to do. Let me look.
Because all right,
Black
Nicky, okay.
Templars. No, I got it. I'm good.
All right,
Yeah,
Scroll. All right, they get to pick before the battle. They can have lethal hits on their melee weapons. Models need to have a 6 field plane and a better leadership characteristic. 4 up bolt against psychic attacks and have the anti-psych or 4 up ability or sustained hit ones. Yeah, so I like that. It's really flexible. If you're going into a psychic heavy army, you take a Before the Witch and destroy the witch. If you're going into something that's really tough, you might take lethal hits, or something that's a horde, you take sustained hits. So I like it. It's flexible, and I like having that flexibility. And I like how it calls out at the start of the first battle round. So this is something that you're selecting each game, so you can adjust as the thing goes.
We're going to phone in a friend right now, Nicky D. I think that you have found something very interesting about Black Templars. Please share.
The data sheet for the Primaris Sword Brethren, which is an amazing kit that was updated for Black Templars, that was included in the update from Games Workshop. They have an ability where at the start of the fight phase, they can select an effect to apply for that fight phase that either gives them +1 attack or +1 damage to their melee weapons. So having that kind of flexibility, and we've already seen, hey, things get tougher. Getting +1 damage for a unit like that's a dedicated melee unit, that's real spicy. And Seth, especially with those vows that you talked about, I think folks or Space Marine players have been real excited about Black Templars this last week.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, guys, we've got Death Watch. Seth, are you familiar with Nicky D? Because like these guys, they're not the very popular faction. We see them, but they're just not as established. I barely know anything about them. Seth, do you know about these guys? I didn't really.
Well, they watch things die.
They watch things that. Okay, there we go. They watch. They're all about customization. Nicky D, you got them, Seth, or Nick? You got it.
They again have some flexibility where they can pick their tactics, but these can change each command phase. Unlike the Black Templars, which is like one thing you get for the whole game, these can change per command phase. So you can have things like sustained hits or lethal hits, or precision abilities on a critical hit, so on a 6 to hit. So again, a lot of variety and flexibility on what you need in that moment, which has always kind of been with Death Watch. Their shtick is being able to pick what you need right now to succeed this turn.
And it looks like they've got multiple weapon options with devastating wounds, which is pretty spicy.
We're going to save that.
Seth does not like devastating wounds. That is not his friend.
No.
That is if you get a wound roll of 6, it automatically becomes a mortal wound, right?
It turns the damage into mortal wounds.
It turns the complete damage.
So if you're damage 1, it's 1 mortal wound. Damage 2. If you're damage, I don't know, we'll talk about it later, but D6 plus 2, it's D6 plus 2 mortal wounds.
All right, guys, in chat, tell us which is your favorite non-traditional Space Marine faction focus. We're curious to know what you think. What is the strongest? Black Templars, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Death Watch. You tell us. Let's talk about Titans. They got a faction focus, which is interesting because they're not a very commonly played army.
They're not a faction.
They're not really a faction, are they?
They're a model type in other armies, other factions.
Yeah. So I don't think we really need to go into depth about them. They're nice. They're big models, but Seth, is there anything?
I immediately got multiple messages the day this released about, are you painting a Gargantuan Skogoth? I already had a Gargantuan Skogoth built and painted, folks. I was on it.
Okay,
Um,
Seth. Now, maybe I'm incorrect, but I believe most orc players have named their Gargasian and Squiggle. Have you named
if
your?
most orc players, but you mean like Val Heffelfinger, I think
Yeah.
is
Okay,
what
Val. All right.
he's
Sorry, he
named
has two.
his.
He's named him after his dogs. It's cute.
Yeah.
All right. All right. All right. All right. So,
So,
okay, nerd news time. Nicky D, I know that you've got something you want to share.
Yeah, I'm just a fountain of knowledge when it comes to nerd news.
mhm,
New trailer that dropped today. Good Omens. If you're not familiar with it, it is a series that is on Amazon.
Amazon. Yep.
Yep, definitely recommend checking it out. It is based on the classic Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman novel of the same name. First season came out, I think, 2020, maybe 2021. Michael Sheen and then David Tennant. David Tennant? I mean,
Yep.
folks, we're talking nerd news.
Yeah.
David Tennant, Doctor Who. I mean, that's straight
Okay.
on nerd
So, what is it
royalty.
about? Give me like the one. Like, is it action? Is it because I'm looking for a new series here.
Ooh, yeah. So Good Omens. It's basically David Tennant and Michael Sheen. They play an angel and devil that are
Okay.
on Earth and are basically scheming with and against heaven and hell with regards to what us normal mortals on Earth are doing. So it's kind of more comedy, dark comedy, thriller, that sort of thing. It's got some action in it, kicker, but it's not by any means an action series.
Cool.
But if you
Yeah.
like something that's a little bit quirky, very British, this will definitely fill that need, and some wonderful actors that are in it.
Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. All right, guys, we are going to hop into some event news, and boy, do we have a bunch. First of all, guys, LVO, guys, the
Mhm.
update, big update here. We are going to go live this Friday at the 9th. We're going to be going live Saturday. There's a few reasons. So Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard
Okay.
Time. This is a change. So why are we going why are we changing it last minute like this, going from Friday to Saturday? There's a few reasons. One, the obvious reason, that's the same time Leviathan goes live, right? That way you can go get your 40K ticket, your champs ticket, whatever, to LVO, and your box set, get it all done in one purchase.
Just destroy your bank account all
Just
at once.
destroy all at once. But also, we had quite a few people, a little upset that we were going live with, the largest LVO ever, with tickets that oftentimes sell out day of, going live on a weekday because they just thought it was not very
Yeah,
fair.
that is tough if you're working.
Yeah, it was really, really challenging. So if we go live on Saturday, for some people, on the other side of the world, it might be Sunday, but the point is it's over a weekend so that more
Yeah,
people have
that
the
makes sense.
opportunity.
Okay.
Yeah, it is important. We do LVO is an international event. We've got people coming from around the world. Events, and especially the packages, sell out within minutes, if not hours. But definitely by the end of day one, a lot of this stuff will be gone. So we want
Yep.
everyone to have at least a chance to try
Grab
to
it
get
while you
that.
can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I do have a question
Go
about
go go.
LVO.
Do
Is
it.
the room block going to be up?
Good question. Okay, guys. So as you may or may not have realized yet, the LVO is at the Rio. The Rio is under new ownership, totally new ownership. It's exciting, but the room block will be coming in a week or two afterwards. This is because
Okay.
yeah. So sit tight. You'll get the room block will get announced. Everyone will have the same opportunity to jump onto that room block when we make that a big announcement. And there's some very exciting things about this room block, which we'll talk about later.
Gotcha.
Team/club ticket. This is a brand new upgrade for clubs coming in from around the country
Mhm.
/world. That ticket, which we've kind of alluded to before, will not be available this Saturday. That will be an upgrade to your existing ticket. So you'll look for an email to a lot of the club teams to join in on that.
Okay.
Same with the painting class. Painting classes about 3 to 4 weeks later.
So all you have to worry about basically this coming weekend is getting your con badge and any event badge and any event packages you want.
Yeah, and the key word you just
want-
said there, Seth, is packages, right? The
Yeah.
packages are extremely limited. So if you want your convention, your 40K package, your
Mhm.
Kill Team package, your Age of Sigmar package, get that this weekend, or else you're probably not going to get it.
But like painting classes, your room, your upgrade for your team, all that stuff's coming. You don't have to worry about getting that all ironed out.
We
by
should
this
talk about
weekend.
the con badge though. This is kind of cool. The con badge has got more perks than ever before. It includes a bunch of stuff where previously did not include it. So you can go to a bunch of paint classes for free, seminars for free, and if you get your con badge, within I think within the next few months, the next 3 months. So basically an early bird con badge, you're going to get a really sweet gift from us. I can't tell you what the gift is because I'm just not allowed to, but it's something you've never gotten at another competitive tournament before, and you will absolutely use it.
Kicker's going to give you cereal.
I'm going to give you cereal. I mean, right.
Everyone gives Kicker cereal.
Everyone
Now
gives me
Kicker's
cereal.
returning
I've been
the love.
stockpiling it all these years just to give to everyone. Also, Seth, I don't know if you saw the catalog. Did you see the LVO catalog we put out? It has all like little. It's a pretty handy little tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got all the event specific merch, and it also kind of tells you what the packages are. So you kind of have a chance to figure out what it is that you want. So if you want to get one of those bigger ticket items, they're going to sell out fast. You can jump on it and know what you're getting and do your research before the tickets go live.
Yeah, and then if you go to some of the further page, like page 2, page 3, page 4 of the catalog, it'll have all the different events we have from
Yep.
War Machine to Lord of the Rings. So you got a whole range of stuff in there. All right, quickly talk about ACO, guys. ACO is soon. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend. The tokens are out. If you're playing in the 40K or Age of Sigmar or Kill Team, you should get your tokens already. Please make sure you register for the through BCP. Add yourself to the roster.
Hey,
Get ready. Upload your list.
I don't know that I have a token kicker.
Oh yeah, I need to get you a token. Sorry, and yeah. You too, Nicky D. I'm a terrible human being. But if you have a ticket through the normal means, meaning through our web cart, you should have gotten an email already from our automated system with a token, a little code that allows you to add yourself to BCP. Please upload your list so that you're not dinged for doing it late. And meet and greet on Thursday night. We're going to have a cash bar there. You're going to be able to hang out with myself, Seth, Nick, the judges. We're all going to be there just hanging out. You can roll some dice. That's from 4, 5-ish.
I even hear that Nick and I might be accepting challengers.
Yes. Who wants to challenge the great?
If you
Seth
think you
Nick?
have what it takes to take on 30 flash kits and 15 mega knobs, you just hit up the Mad Doc and we'll get you squared away real quick.
Yeah. Oh, and this will be a great opportunity to pick up one of those fancy doubloons, right? One of these special swag.
Yeah. My special swag. Yes.
Yeah.
And here I thought it was a pizza eating contest. Like that's what people could challenge us to. But games of 40K too. That's fine. All right.
Oh, do we want to do that? Because I'll do that contest and then I'll whip your ass at 40K.
I will buy the pizza for you guys. All right. Like I am all for that. All right. So Thursday night, it's really chill. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing formal. We're all setting up all day long. And then after that, we're just hanging out in the hall. Come by, between 4 and 7:30 p.m. There'll be the cash bar. We'll be having the tables open so you can get a practice game in at 7:30.
Disflux pointed out in chat, we are fairly certain that ACO will be the last super major level event of 9th edition.
Yes,
it is the send-off.
It is the send-off. Guys, and ACO is the
I'm going to win it with 30
hurrah.
flash kits.
You're going to win it. Seth, I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you. It will be the last hurrah. So talking about ACO, a few other things that are really important, which we just haven't alluded to, is that there's a ton of food in the hall. For breakfast, lunch, dinner, you can get all your food in the hall. ACO is a pretty big, the Atlantic City Harris is a pretty big resort. One of the complaints from past was people having to walk down to the food court or whatever. So in the hall, there's going to be a bar. It starts opening up, I believe, at 11 a.m. But starting at 8 a.m., you can get your breakfast sandwiches and
coffee
and bagels and all that stuff. And then at 11, we have lunch. There's chicken tenders. I can pull up the full menu. There's turkey and Swiss sandwiches, just a whole range of stuff. And that stays open until about 6:30, 7 o'clock p.m. So you can get your snacks and whatnot. So
and that's always a lot more convenient than trying to run out. You got a few minutes between rounds or whatever. It's always nice just to have that. I like to do that because then I can just eat my breakfast and hang out in the hall.
Exactly.
Chat with people as they come in. So
it's cheaper than anything else in the entire resort. Like it's cheaper than going anywhere else in the resort. Yeah, you're not getting a fine dining experience. You're getting chicken tenders and fries, but that's all you really need.
We can have the fine dining in the evening, Kicker.
Exactly.
You and I will get dressed up. We'll get on our tuxes. We'll go out.
Let's do it. Seth, you have a question for Nicky D for our single shirt.
Yes, I do. Nicky D, are you ready?
Let's go for it.
All right. 30 seconds. Nicky D, what is your bold prediction for 10th edition 40K?
All right. I've got 2 for you, Seth. First, I'm going to pick the best Space Marine chapter for the 10th edition, and it will be going from worst to first Imperial Fist.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
That is bold.
Mm-hmm. Got to go big. They were really hot in 8th edition for a while. But anyways, I got 30 seconds. My other prediction, this is a gimme. New models filling out the range for Leagues of Votann and World Eaters. And then other random item, the Hrud, the sky aliens, the Xenos, the phase, and they're basically 40K Skaven. Give me that. That's what I want.
Okay, I know we're over 30 seconds, but we need to explore this a little bit more. And correct me if I'm wrong, chat, Seth, Nicky D, but it seems like in 8th edition we got a new faction. In 9th edition we got a new faction. I'm assuming in 10th edition we got to get a new faction, right? Like we have to. Right?
Traitor Admech, Dark Admech.
No, we're getting Dark-Eyed Mech. Okay, Dark-Eyed Mech would make sense. I think the her.
They got to give someone for Vashtor to hang out with.
No, you're right, Seth. Right, like it's like they're creating this whole, they've got all the backstory there. The aesthetic is there. We just need some troops for him. Yeah. So guys, tell us in chat, what do you think is a potential new faction for 10th edition? Because we are legitimately interested.
We've already got one vote for Emperor's Children.
Ooh, You know what? That makes sense. That makes sense.
Quick question for you guys, because I mean, Emperor's Children as a Chaos Space Marine, maybe there's a new Xenos. Kicker, you play some Imperial armies. Is there an obvious or like maybe obvious Imperial army that could be a new addition? Because there's nothing that really comes to mind for me. I mean, maybe the Arbites get like their whole have a whole Judge Dredd army, but aside from that, I can't really. Think
so man, with the Imperial, what was it? Not Imperial Specials. What was the recent one? Oh my gosh, come on, what was the term?
Imperial Agents.
Imperial Agents. By them saying very specifically that in that faction focus that it was not going to be its own detachment, I was kind of like, oh, there goes a shot. The chances, because they have so many. Because of Kill Team, we've got Navy Breachers, we've got Arbites, we now have Inquisitor Retinue. Like we have options. So it seems like they have enough models. They just need something to tie them together so you can run a force. I would like to say that's the obvious.
Those forces are always little add-ons to other armies.
Yeah, and like technically Arbites are just cops. Like, why are cops going and fighting a war?
Space cops.
Yeah. so I don't think narratively it fits, but I think that they have the model range ready. They just need the ability to bring it in.
All right. That was a very long short, guys.
That was a long short. Sorry.
I think we broke the rules there, but let's get into the thing that everyone wants to talk about.
Yeah, let's do
that is a little old thing called 10th edition Kicker.
Yeah.
As you know, and as everyone else knows, all the content creators put out all their videos on Saturday, and right along with them, GW dropped the full core rules free online for everyone to go check out, along with a kind of a quick start guide to kind of get you up to speed. What do you think, Kicker? We did our video, but I want to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking about 10?
Well, first of all, I am going to toot our own horn. Multiple people reached out to me saying, I really liked your take on the 10th edition stuff that we released, just because it was a little more casual, a little more relaxed, but it was also just like genuine and not just like textbook. It was like our genuine opinions and feelings, which was a lot of fun. I think 10th edition it's a big change, but it's not completely different. We're still playing the same 40K game. Yes, some things have been tweaked, but I don't think it's like learning a new language here. It's just learning a few new, like a different vocabulary for that same language. Does that make sense? I don't know. What do you think, Seth?
I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a huge pivot. It's not from 7th to 8th, right? It's not that big of a change.
It's not. It's not a complete ground up rewrite like 7th to 8th was. So I think that helps, and the indexes should help to kind of bring everyone into the edition kind of on the same footing. Now they did reveal the Leviathan data sheets, which we've seen most of them already just through the Frontline Gaming, or not from the Games Workshop Warhammer community articles. They previewed a lot of those already, but they also did 10th edition preview games at Kansas City this weekend, and they streamed 2 of those. I saw those games, which I got to see more information than we had when we did our review. I've come to kind of a split opinion about 10th edition.
Okay, shoot.
I think 10th edition, and this is, I have a lot of friends that play more narratively and casually. I think 10th edition for that group is going to be a better edition than 9th was, because they really have streamlined a lot of the rules. They've taken out a lot of the more complex, weird interactions that create kind of feel bad moments. They've created the data card system where they have the actual cards. I can show you and I, Kicker, are going to go play a pickup game. I can hand you, here's the 5 or 6 cards in my army list, and you can take a look at them. So there's certainly, like, that makes it a lot easier for that. I know one of the big complaints that my casual friends have is there were too many special rules for each army. There was too much. Like, I have 30 stratagems and a bajillion pieces of relics and warlord traits. They've streamlined that with the reduced numbers of they showed us 6 stratagems for each of those 4 armies they did. Minimal, so like six specialized stratagems for your army, and was 18 in the core book. They've already said that, if you're playing an army, you're going to have two pages of rules for the army, so to speak. So I think that group is going to be better served. And
it's also, I think you're saying it's simpler. It's also, I think, let's just go with the word more intuitive. Like the charge phase is very intuitive. It's pretty obvious. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you can actually do. Just do it. It's what feels natural.
And to be fair, the thing we in the competitive community hear all the time is the competitive community is the minority of the community. So if that's, and I don't know the numbers, GW has those numbers, but if that's the case, and that's the lion's share of their customers, then they've done that group right. I certainly have seen a few things now that give me pause in the competitive community that is going to need to be addressed going forward. I've already seen a few people in chat pointing it out tonight. There's some weird wording with terrain where if you're not wholly within a terrain feature that's ruins, you can't see through it and shoot. So like if you put the front of your Lehman Russ in a piece of terrain kicker that has a big old crack in it and that you could shoot through, if the butt of your tank is sticking out of the terrain, it's not wholly within, therefore it can't see through the terrain.
Yeah, that's going to be a little challenging.
So I suspect with stuff like that, they said a lot this weekend that there is they called it a designer commentary, but it sounds a lot more like an FAQ or a really detailed rare rules thing that's probably going to clarify a lot of that stuff. So I'm interested to see that.
Do we know when that's dropping, Seth? I didn't.
No, they didn't. Just that was from Mike Brandt on, I think, the second 10th edition stream they were doing, where he kept saying there is a design document that goes into all of the minutia of these rules interactions and clears up a lot of this stuff. So I'm hoping to see that clear up some of those things like weird terrain interactions. They previewed a couple of data sheets on stream. We're not going to throw those images up, those GW's images, but you can go back and find them on their stream. This is where I get really concerned when I see something like the D cannons on support weapon batteries.
Yeah.
They've got like a 24-inch range and they have devastating wounds and indirect fire. And with heavy, they negate the -1 to hit from indirect. And with fate dice, you can just say, here's a 6. I automatically get a 6 to wound. Now I'm doing D6 plus 2 mortal wounds to your unit. So there definitely look to be some things that are really strong and really devastating. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Now, we haven't seen points. People are trying to speculate on points, but yeah, those are like, as soon as that data sheet got streamed, I got like 3 or 4 messages from guys being like, did you see this? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And they were like, holy crap, Seth. And I was like, oh no. So there are definitely some things that seem a little overtuned. But I'm hopeful that we get either some points with those that make those really strong things rarer, or it's entirely possible that maybe there's some sort of FAQs coming for those. That's a rumor that's been floating around. Who knows? But so from a competitive standpoint, it's any game when it comes out competitively, there's always going to be hiccups and bumps. I mean, hell, kicker. I was playing this little game called Diablo 4 this weekend, and my build got patched within 48 hours of the game dropping.
Oh, so yeah, and that's
like
okay,
they patched
right?
like 4 builds, so it's like they didn't know those things were going to be abused and broken until they let them loose in the community, and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute!" So it's not unusual for game companies to release something that,
and it shows proactiveness, right? Like, that's important. Like, guys, it's a brand new edition. There's going to be stuff that when you have this many more people playing, we're going to find things that are wrong. But it's the responsiveness, the reaction by the publisher, which is what GW is doing. Is they're going to try to react that will show us what we got here. Like, that's key.
I definitely have my concerns, but I think overall we're in a good spot. They're going to be able to react to it and adjust these things. I know there's going to be a lot of other content creators that are much more focused on all the minutia of all the little things that are out of whack, and they will be shouting to the rafters about those. So hopefully they are heard. But
let's get Nicky D's kind of bird's eye view on this. I mean, is he coming from what is your thoughts? I think Seth and I have both been in this hobby longer than you, Nick. And so Nick, I think you started in 7th, right? Or was it 8th?
I started end of 7th, and I tell folks sometimes, honestly, it's a miracle that I stayed in the game. Given the state of play at the end of 7th edition, now there's very prominent other voices that'll say that was the best time for playing 40k because of the complexity.
It
But
was the best of times. It was the worst.
exactly,
Sorry,
and
wait a minute.
it was really complicated. And I mean, through 8th edition and then 9th edition, I ran events at my local store, and that was one of the parts where just how much easier it was to get people into the game made a big
Yeah.
difference. But as I've talked in my circles with people that are more experienced versus people that are newer to the game, all the veterans have been saying, wait until the points come out.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even just as an example, we've seen on the stream from Games Workshop the data sheet for the Bloodthirster. Guys, a Demons player here, you know I love my Bloodthirster. I will be running a Bloodthirster at Atlantic City Open. We've seen what that data sheet looks like. If that Bloodthirster is 200 points, I'm going to be real happy. If it's 500 points, I'm going to be real sad. So that context on points is going to make such a big difference. I think we have to wait, and I think there's going to be a lot of content that comes out from different folks when the points do come out, when the PDFs come out, which Games Workshop had a post about the PDFs and the rules when those are going to be available. That came out today, but there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. So let's get excited.
Yep.
We're gonna have enough information, and it's going to be an exciting time to play.
And don't forget, GW is running their own event right after the drop, so they're going to have an opportunity to see how this plays at a tournament. And GW's been very responsive. They're probably going to release updates as needed because they want to keep a fun game.
Yeah. And I will tell you, I know from our back end conversations that our judge team is keeping an eye on all of these issues because LSO is 10th edition. So we are certainly keeping an eye out. And
that's a big deal, Seth. We should be saying that LSO is 10th edition. We can finally formally state that.
Yeah. So LSO is the kickoff for 10th edition. You can find me and Kicker and Stephen Box there. I'm sure a bunch of us.
Stephen Box.
I really, if people were paying attention to Facebook, I may have posted a Patrick Swayze, Chris Farley, Chippendales meme, and I think I want Stephen to be my Patrick Swayze to my Chris Farley. I think I need that. But anyway, that's a different discussion. Point is, I might be negative about what I saw out of this stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm not staying in the community. I'm signed up to go to LSO. I'm going to be there. I have faith that GW is going to course correct if there are any mistakes, and I know our judge team is keeping an eye on any of those things that come up. Now, I think it's also really important for you, Kicker, because you can't see chat as well as I can. Chat has renamed our producer.
Oh, okay. What
he is now Nicky D. Cannon.
D. Cannon, yes.
So that's officially your name now. I'm sorry, Nicky D. Cannon.
Yeah,
I can't do anything about it.
I can't do anything about it. Once a nickname is given by the community, it is there forever. So shout out to Disflux. I appreciate it.
I know what I'm getting you for your birthday. All right. So, all right. Very, very cool.
Well, speaking of other content creators, Nicky D, do you have anything else on that? I saw a note here about that.
Nope. Yeah, let's talk about some of those content creators and what are some of our other friends on the Frontline Gaming Network doing this week?
Now, my definitely not man crush Stephen Box over at Vanguard Tactics. They have put together a how to play series that just came out, and it is like stunningly well shot. I knew like the last few weeks we've been working real hard on it. Like I went and watched it today, and I was like, this is not your average camera work. This is just not like two bros staring at a camera talking about.
They've leveled up their, so they have a whole new studio. They've really been,
So it's pretty impressive. So I'm super excited going through that. They have their 10th edition accelerator course to go through with that as well. Now, our former producer, Tech Priest Dicky, has been working, and I do honestly mean this. That man's been working overtime with Grim After Dark because they did a how to play video, and it is. If you like Grim After Dark humor, it is absolutely hilarious because they go through the rules in a very concise manner and they give you visuals with them, but they also just throw in random like off the wall Grim jokes throughout it. So I know he did a lot of work on that. He'd been working on a script and voiceover stuff for literally weeks. So I just really want to give him a plug there. Now, Kicker, we did a video about the top 10 biggest changes, and then I was checking out some of our other folks in the program, and lo and behold, Vanguard not Vanguard Tactics, Tabletop Titans did a 10 changes you need to know about 10th edition. So I have a bone to pick with Adrian now. So I'll be messaging him with a cease and desist. I have copyrighted top 10s for 40K. So
Forever.
just
Forever. All top 10s
keep
are
an
just
eye on your email, Adrian. That's coming for you. So don't worry about that. But yeah, lots of content out there. Lots of folks to check out. Don't forget, if you ever want to support one of the folks in our affiliate program, they're going to have links for all of the good things like tickets and Leviathan boxes. So if you want to grab one of those and help support them, just use their affiliate link instead. So check those guys out. Kicker, I don't think you waited at a community poll this week because we were making you
I've been
work
working
too hard.
Yeah, too much. So someone else can fill in the community poll. Community or chat. Tell us seriously right now.
They're just going off about
No.
Nicky D. Cannon.
Nicky D. Cannon.
Yeah.
Nicky D. Cannon. All right. So why don't we just straight hop right into the spotlight?
So community spotlight. I think I had the order wrong because I saw Nicky D changing the notes here, so I'm just going to trust that he's right. Nope, there we go. So our first one up, JC Watts has this beautiful. I think is that a shadow sword?
That man, don't judge me, but all the big Imperial
Kicker!
teams, I'm like,
You're a guard player.
I am a guard player, but the one thing I just
out.
don't care. They're just too comically big for me. I just no. I know they are
it's a shadow sword because he's been talking about.
Yeah, I might want one.
It's like the only model I don't.
It's the only model I don't have from Guard, and so I'm like, I think I kind of.
And Kicker, look at his painting desk, how used it is as compared to your pristine painting desk.
No, I love it. Well done. Who did? JC Watts did this.
Yeah, JC.
Well done, man. That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
So, up and see how he's got those ones color splashes too. Okay, moving on. Jesse Bendance did some sisters. I believe those are the pennant engines, right? Those are. There's a couple different versions of them. I don't know which ones those are, but they do appear to be penitent sisters strapped to large angry machines, burning things for the Emperor. Maybe burning the sisters for the Emperor. I don't know. Up next, Brian Green's been working on a bunch of Kalozdi jet bikes. He actually posted that this is planned for 10th edition. So I really hope the jet bikes are good in the Kalozdi's, Brian. Otherwise, you're going to be in a real awkward situation like some guy with 30 flash kits. We'll see about that. We'll keep an eye out.
But those look sharp, man. Those look
now,
sharp.
this guy, I really apologize. He's posted some great models last few weeks. So I've pulled him, but I can't pronounce his name.
Can we please get a description of how to say your name, our friend?
Patrick Failane. He busted out his photo box and was kind of getting back up to speed. So this is his Abaddon conversion with lots of OSL. That's that object source lighting, that green glow shining off the armor. So that's looking amazing. And Kicker, I pulled this last one because you've liked this man's work before. This is Patrick Martin's Votan.
Yeah.
This time he did his Berserkers. And I have to say, Patrick, I have not liked Berserkers with hammers until I saw yours, and now I'm like, okay, someone's finally painted those in a way that make me like them. Yeah. So if I decide to add some hammers to my Votan, I'll probably be stealing that lighting effect you did because it looks real good. So
came out really well.
Super happy about all that, man.
No, but that is true. Like everyone does like power swords or power blades, but doing like a power hammer to look as hard. It's hard. It's just harder to do.
And he did it well. So congrats to him. So I might be stealing that technique. We'll find out. So anyway, Kicker, final thoughts for the night.
Guys, you're probably going to miss me. It's going to be about 2 weeks that I won't be able to be on signals because I'll be driving up to Atlantic City next week. And then after that, I'm just going to disappear to the woods in Maine with my family just to camp for a little while. And then I am back.
So you're stuck with me and Nicky D for 2 weeks now, huh, guys? Oh, boy.
But hey, guys, wish us luck. The whole Frontline Gaming full-time team is focused on getting LVO ready to go live. Today is Wednesday. We got a few more days, and we are all working our asses off. We will get us live on the 10th. So yes,
it'll be a blast. I'm excited to get back out there and see everyone because it was a hell of a time last year.
Hell yeah. Hey, Nick, what do you want to say? Any last words for the episode for the night?
Yeah, Kicker, we'll miss you the next 2 weeks, but people will not miss you if they're at Atlantic City Open, which is where they should be anyways. But Kicker will not be here on Wednesday night, folks. I am working on a special guest for next week to do kind of a final wrap up of 9th edition that may join Seth and I for that episode. So we're not going to be all alone, left to our own devices just yet. But
there'll be one adult in the room then.
One adult in the room.
Well, we'll see what our guest says about that, how they viewed themselves as an adult. But no, I'm excited here, guys. Last few weeks of 9th edition, let's have fun with it. Let's get weird. I want to see some weird lists at ACO. So bring your weird stuff, especially Forge World.
Does
If you
30
haven't
flash
want to use
splits count as weird?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
they got-
yeah. I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Seth,
good.
Nick, I'm giving an assignment for you guys at ACO. Take photos of the craziest armies you've seen. The most
Done.
unique army. Let's do it. Let's just do a whole collage of these things. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Sweet.
All right. Well, we thank you so much for joining us. This has been a great episode. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals. For Kicker, he will see you at ACO, but for the rest of us, we will see you next Wednesday. Good night.